What's up, guys? It's your boy Floyd, aka your Negus, aka Commish of the best fantasy football league in the world, and of course, that is Nantucketts Revenge. And as per usual, I am joined by my lovely, lovely co-host Michael Wiseman, and owner of Team Thousand Oaks Gang. How you doing, buddy?
Fantasy football wise could be a lot better, but otherwise nothing to complain about. Just a little bit of adversity,
For sure. Could be a lot better for you. I'm coming off my first win. You still have 0, so it's not looking good for the guys on stream here. But let's just jump into it. Let's jump into the standings and see what we've got working. Wiseman, take us through the standings.
Yep. At the top, we've got Team Miller Time at 3-1. The tiebreaker, I'm assuming, is points scored or point differential. He's followed by 2 other 3-1 teams, the Golden Taint and
3 other 3-1 teams.
.com. Oh yeah, there is 3. My bad.
It's crazy. It's 4 total.
I gotta stick my face all the way in the camera. Rusty Cunts is the other 3-1 team. Those teams are owned respectively by Ricky, Rob, and Trevor. Got, it looks like 6 2-2 squads. Toledo Cheek Clappers, Billy, Mr. Verizon Drake, John is loose, Mikey, and Team Butts, and Victoria's Secrets, which is David, yeah?
Yes, sir.
I knew his last name was Carr, but I was just guessing it was David.
His first name's Coach.
Okay. I'm not following that. And then there's 2 1-3 teams, Delaney Saggy Tits, our commissioner, and Bobby with 7. And rounding out the bottom at 0-4, fewest points scored, most points scored against, yours truly, 1,000.
Oh, he had added most points against.
I mean, it's not like it matters. I have the fewest points.
Fewest points.
It's just been bad.
Yeah. Let's check out any other outliers we might have in that category. Because like you said, you're 12th and not only points against, but also points for. I believe Billy had a lot of points scored against him, 534. Okay, it must have lowered after this week, so he's like points against. Let's see. He's 3rd in points against. I'm 2nd in points against, so maybe that makes me feel a little bit better. If we adjust for points for, Billy has the most at 592, then Andy, then Ricky, then Drake, Mikey, Rob, Trevor, Butts, me, Coach Carr, Pooley, and then you in last, of course. It kind of sucks that there's 4 3-1 teams, but do you have any surprises in the standings to you, and anything sticking out at all?
Yeah, I think it's pretty surprising that Billy being the top scorer is 2-2. Definitely been a little bit unlucky, you could say. I think Rob said that at the beginning of the year he was expecting his team to struggle, but here he sits at 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as a lot of teams who were towards the bottom, just been a lot of underperforming players this season. I think there are a lot of guys who were taken in the front 3 rounds of the draft that have just fallen flat. Regardless of whether or not they'll pick it up eventually, or this is just the new normal. It's just been a struggle for a lot of the lads in the league, and I think that a couple guys have caught some good breaks, but at the same time, I wouldn't take anything away from the 3-1 teams. I think that for the most part, they've earned those results. So not a ton of surprises, not a ton of separation, but there are a couple noteworthy inclusions there.
Totally. And we are going into week 5 right now, so we have 4 weeks of Survivor Challenge to run through. It looks like first week was it you?
Yeah.
You were eliminated first week. Week 1, as we see there. Week 2, Devin Pooley at 93 points. Week 3 was Mikey at 86. And then last week was Gail, I believe, at 110. Because you were already eliminated.
Yep.
Yes, sir. So scoring 110 doesn't feel good, especially in getting eliminated, especially when we had somebody at 86 that was eliminated. But alas, we are on to week 5. So let's just – oh, no, we got to go over some recent activity, actually.
Yeah, we got some trades that happened, some waiver wire pickups. No real big ticket waiver players. There's maybe a handful that we'll mention, but for the most part, waiver wire has been pretty tame, I think.
I agree. Mostly just trades, it looks like, happening. And I see this one on Tuesday with Drake. Let's see if there's anything else before that is important of note. I would say just me and you. It looks like on Thursday, September 30th, Trey Sermon for Brandon Ayuk. What's your takeaway on that one?
Both players have been pretty underwhelming, to be honest. Obviously, the move there was I was hoping to get a little bit of short-term production, if anything, at running back until. I mean,
you did get a TD that first game, didn't you?
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, it was only 11 points, so nothing too crazy. And at that point, it's just kind of you buying low on Brandon Ayuk because he's just been super underwhelming. So the trade could definitely help you out more in the long run. For me, it was more of like a patching a hole in the ship. Yeah, trying to stop the ship from sinking. And Andy made no secret that he thought it was a bad trade, which I guess but
yeah, I don't know if there's much to say on good trade versus bad trade. I wanted a receiver, you wanted a running back. We both grabbed guys that probably have similar medians. So maybe Ayuk has more upside, and I guess we have yet to see that. So
yeah, the main reason why I don't necessarily know if Trey Sermon's going to have long-term value for the 49ers is that A, Shanahan uses multiple running backs all the time.
Right.
And B, I don't know if Trey Sermon necessarily fits like the profile of a Kyle Shanahan running back. Like you look at guys like Raheem Mostert and Elijah Mitchell and JaMychal Hasty. Like they're all burners. They're all very fast. And I think Trey Sermon only ran like a 4.5 or 4.6 at his combine. So he's not as quick as your normal 49ers running back. But perhaps that change of pace is something that they'll use more going forward. It's just we'll see.
Yeah, I thought he looked a little slow in his first game, but the second game he appeared to be a bit more explosive and confident. So I guess we'll have to see moving forward. Next trade. This was, like I said, this Tuesday just passed. Team Rusty Cunts, a.k.a. Trevor, trades Drake, Mr. Verizon, Damian Williams, Robert Woods, Sterling Shepard for KJ Osborne, Kenneth Gainwell, and Deontay Johnson. What are your thoughts?
I think it's easy to say that this was a trade in Drake's favor after watching Robert Woods put up 29 points last night.
It is in hindsight, of course.
Yeah. I mean, KJ Osborne has been fine for Minnesota. He's definitely a guy that you can flex. I'm not super confident in really anyone on the Eagles as far as fantasy goes, so I don't necessarily know what Trevor's gaining with Kenneth Gainwell. And Deontay Johnson is very clearly the best fantasy receiver on the Steelers, but it's just a question of can Ben supply a top fantasy option? And obviously Damian Williams is going to be the starter for Chicago. If he can replicate 75% of what David Montgomery has so far, he'll be probably an RB2 or flex play. And, I mean, I don't have any issues with Sterling Shepard. I know that he's been hurt, and Trevor is probably just trying to get some guys that he could play. So I think it's looking like Drake's going to end up with the better end of this trade. But, again, if Deontay Johnson can return to what he was last season as far as fantasy goes, and I think that comes more down to Big Ben than anything, then Deontay Johnson could potentially be the best fantasy player in the trade. But there's still a lot of football that needs to be played before you can say definitively who wins this trade. But right now it's looking like it was Drake.
Yeah, and of course, like we said, we'd say in hindsight that Drake's going to smash with the Robert Woods play. It is curious that it feels like Trevor gave up a lot to maybe marginally have more consistent at his high-end wide receiver side, being Deontay Johnson. But, yeah, it just feels like he gave up quite a lot to only marginally improve when he probably could have used all three of those pieces to get more in maybe other trades or maybe later starts or all Trevor had to say about it this morning was that he's on to Kyle Butts and he's worried about beating Kyle Butts and that's it. Seems like maybe that comment means he's a little bit scared.
I don't know about scared. Maybe he feels like he doesn't need to justify his trade.
Well, of course not. But man, watching Robert Woods last night doesn't feel good. I mean, it's not like what happened with Woods last night was something we haven't seen because last year it was the same thing where Robert Woods would score 10, 10, 10, 12, 12, 30, 30, 12, 12. Like, he's got a median with massive upside and it just feels like trading for Deontay Johnson was just for marginal gain at a spot that he maybe didn't necessarily need.
Yeah.
Anyways, but alas.
I saw that the fantasy football Reddit nickname for Robert Woods is Bobby Trees, so I might start calling him that.
Bobby Trees. That's actually really good. That's clever and funny. Bobby Trees. Let's see. Looking through waivers, nothing interesting. I was happy to add Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold this week for $1 each. Did you make any pickups?
I picked up Daryl Williams on Kansas City. Baron, stop. Sorry, my puppy. I don't think I really made anything major. I had a guy that was on IR, Tony Jones, backup running back for the Saints. So I just replaced it.
Okay, and that would take us right to my trade with Ricky. Are you there?
Yeah, no, it's
sorry.
Dogs on one.
Yeah. So that would take us right to my trade with Ricky. How do you feel about it? I traded Devontae Parker and Tyler Lockett for Mike Williams.
Well, obviously, you know that I'm a big Mike Dub fan, being a Chargers guy.
Okay.
He's been unreal this year. Obviously, kind of fell flat last week, and I think that was probably just the way the game went. The Chargers were getting a lot of success through Eckler and through both tight ends, so Williams wasn't really necessary in a game like that. So I don't think that his most recent game is indicative of how he's going to perform the whole season. But I'm not necessarily positive that his first 3 weeks are going to be necessarily sustainable of putting up 30 plus points every week. But it does seem like he is coming into this season a lot stronger than he has in seasons past. So I think it's possible that maybe this is the season he ends up with just as many catches as Keenan Allen, and I would be willing to bet he will end up with more touchdowns than Keenan Allen.
Yeah, definitely in the touchdown department.
Yeah, so I think that Mike Williams is going to be an awesome fantasy wide receiver this year. I would say that his floor is top 20 receiver this year. And then, you traded away a couple solid players. It was Lockett and who else?
Devontae Parker.
Yeah, obviously Devontae Parker is going to get targets in Miami. It's just a matter of if they can improve at quarterback. Tua is coming back, obviously. It's going to come down to him performing well to assist Parker. And Tyler Lockett, has obviously been a great fantasy receiver, but it's going to be curious to see what ends up happening with Russell Wilson's injury.
Well, yeah, I just read it just happened like an hour ago. I'm not sure if you've seen it. He's going to be out for about a month, possibly a little bit longer.
Yeah, so that's definitely gonna decrease his fantasy value.
Which is interesting because I think that it hurts Tyler Lockett, could be dramatically. I wouldn't necessarily say so, but I think what I'm trying to say is I think DK Metcalf is affected a little bit less by Geno Smith playing, and I mostly only say that because I think DK is the type of receiver that any quarterback can play with. Whereas Russ and Tyler Lockett were kind of like a Russ and Tyler Lockett kind of thing. And that's not a knock on Tyler Lockett because he's an extremely good route runner and he's super fast. But obviously timing is a thing. I just think when a quarterback is new to the offense, it's probably a lot easier to throw to the big, fast, strong athlete than it is the quick guy. But I guess we'll have to see.
I think that I don't hate the trade on either end. I think that you both are gaining some value. I think that Mike Williams will end up being certainly an improvement over Devontae Parker. And now with Russell Wilson being out, I think that will make Mike Williams potentially, at least for the next 4 weeks, a better fantasy receiver than Tyler Lockett. So if you assume that Russell Wilson was healthy, you could say that this is a pretty dead even trade. But with Russell Wilson being out for the next 4 months, I think Mike Williams will probably put up more points than either Devontae Parker or Tyler Lockett. Probably not combined, but one.
Yeah, I would say lastly, I just simply had to get rid of either Tyler Lockett or DK, and I just view DK as wide receiver one, big dick type of guy. So I needed to increase my ceiling. I could not stand starting both of them anymore. It seems like they never go off together at the same time. And it's just every time one of them scores a touchdown, that's just the other guy not scoring a touchdown. So,
and I think Ricky made the trade for a similar reason because he had Eckler, so he was trying to not have too many Chargers.
Yeah, so I would say it was a good trade on both of our parts, and I'm stoked to have Mike Williams, and my team's feeling good. Let's see. Oh, and then the next trade with me again, AJ Dillon and Quintez Cephas for Mike Gesicki. What are your thoughts?
I don't get it.
You don't get it?
Yeah.
Who won?
I mean, like, I don't know. I don't think that. I mean, Mike Gesicki has been one of those guys that I feel like the NFL's been waiting to blow up for like 4 years running. And I mean, if this is the year that it happens, then it'll end up being a great trade for you, I guess. But I know you've been bigging up Quintez Cephas for a while, and I don't know if the Lions are really producing any great fantasy options in general. And AJ Dillon's going to be great if Aaron Jones ever goes down, but it's kind of just like a wait and see, like a stash on your bench guy. So I guess I get why Butts made the trade, because he probably is a better tight end to start than Gesicki anyway.
Yeah, I forget who it is. Actually, I don't remember who he's starting. Let me check. I actually thought Gesicki should have been his starter, but he had Gesicki in the bench. Let me see. Kyle Butts is starting Dawson Knox. So I guess, and like, to be honest, there's probably weeks where he's also starting Javonte Williams. There's probably weeks where I'd rather start Mike Gesicki over Javonte Williams. But that all depends. But alas, I made the trade because from what I'm seeing, from what I've heard, is that Gesicki essentially lines up as a receiver, pretty much never plays tight end, only runs routes. And I was starting Conklin from Minnesota. And, Minnesota, their tight ends do score sometimes, but I guess I'm just not going to leave it up to a Minnesota tight end. Those guys are very touchdown dependent, whereas I don't think Gesicki is going to be necessarily touchdown dependent. And Gesicki obviously has a way higher ceiling than somebody like Conklin does. And I'm in the win now mode, so you can see why I'm willing to get so thin on my roster, because I'm just trying to hurry up and increase my floor and my ceiling as fast as possible and hope it holds. Like you mentioned with AJ Dillon, if Aaron Jones goes down, like, that's just brutal for me. But I'm never really counting on somebody to get injured, although it seems like every running back in the NFL will get injured besides maybe Zeke. Zeke just never gets hurt. But yeah, if Aaron Jones goes down, I clearly lost the trade by a mile, and it won't even be close. But for the time being, I'm gaining value, whereas Butts is gaining 2 bench guys. I don't know why he wanted Cephas. I originally put in Gesicki and AJ Dillon straight up, and then he countered with just adding Cephas in there. But I mean, Cephas was an automatic drop for me if I had the opportunity to. So I guess I don't know what he's going to do with him, but we'll see.
Pretty uncharacteristic of you to trade for a tight end.
Of course, I agree. But alas, I needed it. My quarterback's set. My running backs are set. All my receivers are set. Only thing I didn't have was tight end. Andy Miller, I dropped Kirk Cousins for because Russ got hurt last night. That's why he did it. Duh.
I put in a bid for him, but I didn't get him. I think I only bid $1. I wasn't even thinking.
Yeah, he went in for 5. I dropped him when I added in Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold, but Andy was starting Russ. Russ goes down last night, and he also has Jefferson. So obviously the Kirk Cousins ad makes a ton of sense. I added Tyson Williams for $1. I don't even remember doing that. I believe he's scheduled to come back in like a month or something. Yeah, so like, I'm not worried about it. Eventually he's going to play, and he may come in handy. He may not. Add him for $1. I'll take it all day. I also added Jeff Wilson for $1. I just had so many spots open. I didn't know what to do with.
Big Flyers.
Oh, and I added Kadarius Toney last night because Julio Jones, for whatever reason, can't stay healthy and can't produce. So I literally needed a starter after getting rid of Devontae Parker. So Kadarius Toney against Dallas.
Jones has had injury issues his whole career, I feel like. So
it's just obnoxious, man. One time I need him to be Julio.
Football's an incredibly violent sport. I mean, that's why these guys are always hurt.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Football is actually really gross, but regardless,
we're
here for the games.
not good for your health, but good for the entertainment purposes.
There you go. And I think that's it for recent activities and such.
Yeah, just gotta go over this week's matchup, week 5. Let's go start with yours since you're at the top.
Sure. All right. Oh, what is this fucking ad?
Under Armour.
Come on, Under Armour. I'm gonna watch 30 seconds of this shit.
Under Armour should be giving us money.
It's DK. It's DK. It's my boy. There he is. Oh, yeah. He's so jacked. Ooh, y'all pick Tyler Lockett over him? Come on now. Anyways, we got John is loose, 2-2 versus Team Delaney's saggy tits, 1-3. Might I add, I should be 2-2, but Gale snuck by with a 3-point win in week 1. But I'm not bitter. Anyways, I guess I'll lead it off since it's my matchup. I am projected to lose still, despite getting a 30 ball from DK, which is just crazy because, I mean, you're facing Patrick Mahomes, you're facing Derrick Henry, facing Marquise Brown, who has been top 5.
Darren Waller.
Marquise Brown's 13, but, I mean, look at these numbers. 19, 23, 8. His 8 against Detroit, he dropped 30 points worth of touchdowns, or worth of points. And he had 8. He had 2 or 3 wide open that he literally dropped for touchdowns. So Marquise Brown is obviously a savage, and I'm really worried about sweating him on Monday night. Antonio Brown is going to break out. It's obvious. They keep setting up plays for him. I tried getting Antonio Brown from Mikey, but
that was never going to happen.
Yeah. So, like, honestly, I am sweating this. Like, I don't care for Leonard Fournette. I don't care for Josh Jacobs. It looks like actually
McCaffrey is doubtful.
Oh, is he doubtful? Okay.
Yep. He was upgraded or downgraded to doubtful.
Well, then, so there you go. Hubbard against Philadelphia, who's got a shit defense. That game's going to be high scoring for sure. So, I mean, honestly, I'm facing a really, really crucial and important week here. One, I think I could lose. And I think it's obvious that I could lose it considering I'm still projected to get smoked despite getting a 30 ball. Not much to say. I need a touchdown out of Tony Pollard. I need Tyreek to beat Tyreek. And I need Ayuk to just please do something because I can't start anybody else. So
yeah, I don't know if there's a ton to add there. Obviously, Mikey's got some hitters. Derrick Henry's been the number 1 running back. Patrick Mahomes
against Jacksonville. Patrick Mahomes against Buffalo. It's gonna be a shootout. Like, I'm worried. I'm worried about this game. I'm not.
Yeah, and you can imagine that the Bucs will probably roll over the Dolphins. So and that and AB can both put up a ton of points. Juju's whatever. And then, Darren Waller's just very clearly the best pass catcher in Oakland, and it's not even close.
Yeah, I need that Chicago defense to come through and shut Waller and Josh Jacobs down really bad.
Yeah, you really do because, Darren Waller, I hated watching. When I was watching the Monday night game when the Chargers were playing the Raiders, and every single time I was assuming Derek Carr's throwing the ball to Darren Waller. It was almost every time. Right. Anyway, Mikey has a 52% chance to win this according to the numbers. I think that's probably fair.
You still got Mikey winning this one?
I think it's probably fair to give him the edge. I mean, DK had a great game, but if Patrick Mahomes, Derrick Henry, Marquise Brown, Darren Waller do what they have been doing, then he should win. Basically, you're going to have to count on his guys falling flat, I think. But, I mean, if Tyreek blows up like he did last week, Mike Williams does what he has done every week apart from last week, I mean, you'll both definitely score over 120 points. So this is going to be
I agree.
Probably a high-scoring matchup.
Yeah, I think I'm going to need one out of – I'm going to need Jones to tear up Dallas' defense. I'm going to need one out of Kadarius Toney. And I'm going to need simply the good defenses in Denver and Chicago to show out for me, to shut down 3 of his guys. So we'll see what happens. I'm taking me. If Brandon Ayuk doesn't give me a 0, I still think I should win this one. Simply because I'm not going to see Waller and Jacobs going ham. I just got to fade Patrick Mahomes and Derrick Henry 30 balls, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. Next one, we got Mr. Verizon, Drake Segula versus Golden Taint, 2-2 versus 3-1. After last night, Drake is projected to take the top off this one. Got Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods scoring for a combined 40 points versus Lockett and Higbee scoring for less than 20. So, I mean, it explains a lot.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting that he rolls out Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. It's interesting to play both of them. I mean, the Rams are good, and Stafford's been feeding Kupp, and now it looks like Woods is going to get more involved. So I think that right now Drake's obviously off to a great start, but I don't necessarily think that the players who are going to be scoring a majority of Ricky's points were ever going to be Lockett and Higbee. Don't get me wrong, Lockett's capable of it, but he's going to hit you with Eckler and Chubb and Lamar Jackson probably. So I think he still has his hitters to go, but Drake still has hitters to go as well. The Murray-Hopkins stack is lethal, as you know. Aaron Jones, yep. J.D. McKissick has been getting plenty of volume, and shockingly, Hunter Renfroe has been great for fantasy this year. I don't know if maybe I just dismissed him because he's a white receiver, but he's been doing really well.
So who you got?
I think, I'm gonna say Drake in this one, just because I think that the run for the Chargers is going to be tough against the Browns. So I think that Eckler might struggle. I mean, he'll definitely put up his at least 10, 15 points, even on a day where he doesn't score and doesn't break 100 yards. But I think that the Browns are designed to run more than throw, and the Chargers' run defense is not very good. So I think that Chubb could have a big game. Conversely, Hunt could have a big game as well for you. I think that the Bucs are in a good position to beat the Dolphins, so Mike Evans is going to have opportunities to score. I think a lot of it's going to come down to who gets better production out of their flex. It's going to come down to J.D. McKissick and Hunter Renfroe versus Galladay and Parker. I think that's going to be.
Which I'm taking Galladay and Parker all day, to be honest, over McKissick and Renfroe.
I think that, but the big difference maker for me, I think, is going to be. I think that San Francisco 49ers versus the Cardinals is going to be a great game. I think that has the potential to be very high scoring, so that bodes well for Murray and Hopkins. And I think if they can make the difference in that game, they will certainly make the difference in this fantasy matchup. So I will take Drake.
I think that's a good call. I think it sucks that Ricky's starting 2 Browns versus a tough Chargers defense. And then vice versa.
Not so great against the run.
Yeah, I think it's just true about the run thing, because Zeke and Pollard fucking went ham on the Chargers.
Yep.
Man, like on paper, I just hate Drake's last 3 guys as tight end and his 2 flexes so bad. I think this is going to be a lot closer than the projections are showing, and I do agree that it probably will come down to how many times Murray and Hopkins can hook up with each other. Give me Drake only because I feel stupid for picking somebody who's already down 23 points, but something tells me that Ricky's team could put up some good numbers this week.
I think Ricky's team is definitely capable of winning these 3-1 for a reason, but Drake's off to a great start, and he's still got his top 3 players to go. Well, 3 of his top 4 players.
Yeah, and Damian Williams will probably just get the volume. So on to the next one. Lead us off, since you got the lucky 9 ball.
If I come away with a win in this one, it's going to be absolute robbery.
Which we do have to note into the projections that he won't be starting McCaffrey. Let's see. It'll be probably Naheem Hines. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big break for me for McCaffrey not playing. To be honest, I didn't realize that I was up against him this week until just now. So I'm glad that he's doubtful. That could be a big break for me, but I'm really just going to need some of my guys who've been underwhelming all year to come through with a good performance this time. Cook has been underwhelming. Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, Marquez Callaway's been fucking trash. So yeah, I need a bounce back week from a lot of my guys. If at least 4 of my guys score touchdowns, I will have a chance. But if I get more 5-point performances out of Allen Robinson and Corey Davis and Marquez Callaway, I'm sunk, dude. Like, there's a reason my team's been the lowest scoring so far this season. It's just because nearly my whole team's been underperforming like Manny Sanders.
Are we worried about Dalvin Cook's health?
She probably should be. He can't seem to practice or play meaningful. Like, I mean, he plays in the games, obviously, but
I feel like there's more of a snap share now.
Yeah, way more than what it should be with somebody as talented as Dalvin Cook. So I was so 50-50 about drafting him or Kamara at the 2 spot, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go chalk. I'm not gonna try to get too cute. And I'm paying the fucking price, dude. I'm an idiot. God damn it. I think I'm gonna lose. I think it'll be robbery if I win.
Well, I mean, the 9 ball from quarterback really helps. Let's see. Dalvin versus Jefferson could be some leverage. Jamar Chase has just been excellent. Him and Joe Burrow for the next 10 years. Just inject that into my veins. It's going to be nice. Man, if you can squeeze one or two lucky touchdowns out of, let's say, Allen Robinson and Corey Davis, I think I just take you all day. But yeah, some of your guys have just been extremely underwhelming. Emmanuel Sanders should have a good game, and you're just going to need that from him.
Yeah, I think that
Trey Sermon starting this week?
It's looking like it.
And we're fading Trey Sermon, huh?
I might squeeze him in over Marquez Callaway. We'll see. But, yeah, my main dilemma is just that my team's been underperforming. Obviously, Andy's team has been performing well since he's 3-1. Russell Wilson scoring 9 points hurts, as does not having the arguably best player in fantasy in Christian McCaffrey. So it's helping. The odds are not in my favor, I would say. But I have a way better chance of winning than I should have coming into this week.
I agree.
I'd be ecstatic if I can squeeze it out, but again, I think it will be absolute robbery if I come away with a win.
Man, what is with the Saints this year?
Jameis sucks.
No, they're just running the ball too much. They don't even let Jameis drop back to pass. They don't let him cook. It was hashtag let Jameis cook, and they're not letting him cook. They're like, no. They're like, you don't get it. We got to put in the white dude at quarterback. I don't even remember his fucking name. Taysom Hill, and we just got to line up in the eye, the pistol, and we just got to run the football. Hit him in the mouth. Regardless.
Run the football.
Hit him in the mouth. All right, we got Team Butts owner Kyle Butts 2-2 versus Rusty Cunts Trevor Wiscotchel 3-1. Trevor started off the season with a vicious trade rate, potentially ruins it. We'll have to see. We'll have to find out. Wiseman, who you like in this one?
Well, Carson going down was obviously counterproductive to Trevor's odds at winning this week, but I still think Trevor will win this one. The Hurts-Miles Sanders stack, I mean, maybe coming into the year you're thinking maybe it can work, but now we're 4 games in and the Eagles have not looked effective really at all. So I don't necessarily know if that's the right play. I mean, obviously you start Miles Sanders if you have him because he doesn't have a better option on the bench, but surely he could come up with a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts, I think.
No, Jalen Hurts is like a top 5 fantasy quarterback, no doubt.
Really?
Yes.
That's how much I
he's number 3.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts.
That's how much I fucking know, dude.
He just rushes the ball too much. So the Hurts thing is good. He would much rather have Devontae Smith than Miles Sanders. Let's see where Miles Sanders is at.
Yeah, or Joe Mixon if he was healthy. Chase Edmonds has been very good for the Cardinals.
Even with getting robbed by James Conner every game.
Yeah. Obviously, Tay Adams is Tay Adams. CeeDee Lamb can go off. Pittman, I think, has been a mixed bag, and I think it's largely in part due to the quarterback play.
Yeah.
So I think obviously he's trending upward if you look at those numbers.
It looks like he's good for 10 points.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess you can't really ask for too much more out of like a second flex or third receiver spot, really. But
I'm pretty sure Robbie Anderson has been really underwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah, he has.
So that's
really, most of the pass catchers, other than DJ Moore in Carolina, have been underwhelming. But yeah, I just like Trevor's lineup a little bit more top to bottom. I think Zeke will have a great game against the Giants. Tyler Boyd Jamar Chase has been great, but I think Tyler Boyd is potentially the best. Like, I don't even know if possession receiver is the right word. I don't know, dude. I don't want to talk too much. Chris Godwin's good.
No, he is. He's a slot guy, Tyler Boyd.
Yeah. Antonio Gibson is who they have? New Orleans. I think that's a good matchup. Jalen Waddle he's been decent. I think that he's a good guy to have at your second flex. I think that the projections are fair that it will be close, but I'm giving Trevor the slight edge in this one.
Okay, I got butts. I think Jalen Hurts is just going to be too good. Chase Edmonds is too good. And if Devontae and CeeDee even get near their ceilings, I don't see Trevor being able to match. Deontay Johnson's going against Denver this week, so that doesn't help. And you just don't know who's going to score the touchdowns for Tampa Bay, although they should roll through, but that doesn't necessarily, maybe they get a lead and they start running the ball. I also know that Miami's defense is relatively undervalued, so I'm just going to take butts all day, and this one's simply due to talent. I think Hurts, Devontae, CD, and Chase Edmonds will be too much. And then sprinkle in a lucky touchdown or two, and then Kyle Butts won't be caught is what I think will happen. Especially just given that, one of his players already only scored 9 points. So
on to the next one.
We've got Victoria's Secret Coach Carr versus XNXX / Alexis Texas Rob Sebecki. Wiseman, who you taking?
Well, I don't know if the double Falcons running back stack is the move.
Oh, fuck.
Khalif Raymond. Is that like Detroit's third receiver? I don't know.
I think he's like the one, but it's like random every week. TJ Hawkinson is clearly the one, but
yeah, Henry Ruggs can be a guy if he catches, those big bombs downfield. He can put up a ton of points.
But that's it, though.
Laviska Shenault's solid player as well. He's going to need a lot out of Kelsey,
Shenault, and Dak.
Yeah, because Cordarrelle Patterson has been great. We'll see if it's sustainable. I think basically when he's starting both of them, he's just banking on one.
George Kittle. Wow.
And then looking at Rob's team, Josh Allen's been dynamite. So has Jonathan Taylor. Saquon Barkley, I think, is good. Obviously, his floor is solid. So you know what you're going to get with Saquon, and it's always possible. He puts up 30, 40 points. So Cooper's been great. Thielen's been a little meh. Crowder coming back has been huge, and Latavius Murray is going to be the starter for the Ravens. I think the projections are fair and giving Rob the edge in this one.
It should be Rob by a landslide. I think Carr is really going to need Dak, Shenault, and Kelsey to just go ham. And we haven't seen enough out of Shenault to even know that there's a ceiling there. Henry Ruggs, like you said, would have to catch a monster touchdown, but Chicago's defense isn't going to give up no bullshit. At least we don't think so. Zach Moss could stumble into 2 touchdowns, like inside the 20s, and he would really need that. Calvin Ridley in Atlanta has just been extremely underwhelming. Matt Ryan is clearly dust. And, starting CPAT and Mike Davis is just a recipe for disaster, as if this was Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray. It's not. So I don't know what to say. It really sucks George Kittle's out. I think Carr will get spanked, and Rob will glide into 4-1. He kind of stumbled upon it, too. So.
Yeah, I think David's been very aggressive in his trades. I don't know if anyone else is receiving as many trade offers from him as I am.
He needs a receiver, but he wouldn't take Devontae Parker. Hey, what do I know? Next, we've got team bye week, as per usual, 1-3, Devin Pooley. Toledo Cheat Clappers, Billy Block, 2-2. Billy, I think I'm the most unlucky team. If not, it's Billy, according to Andy's analytics, his little metric. If anybody who doesn't know that the metric, that table that Andy shares every week where it shows luck, is just essentially how many people you would have beaten that week. So if you would have played everybody, how many would you have beaten? And that's what it's showing. So Billy's 2-2, probably should be at least 3-1. He got a 17 ball from Henderson last night. I mean, the Rams are just feeding Henderson. And if he wouldn't have gotten a little banged up, he probably would have pushed 30, because I know Sony Michel also scored. And, I mean, this is just the biggest margin of the week, 147 to 127, 147 to 107. I don't know. You know what I'm saying. Just give me Billy all day. I don't even know what else to say. You would need a huge game out of A.J. Brown. You would need Mark Andrews to finally do something. It just doesn't even seem in the realm of possibilities that Devin can win this one.
Yeah.
Given the volume that Najee Harris and James Robinson are getting, Stephon Diggs is going to be in a shootout. DJ Moore is going to be in a shootout. I mean, Marvin Jones is facing Tennessee. I mean, Debo against Arizona. I mean, come on, Billy might score 200 points this week.
Yeah, think about Kyle Pitts with Ridley not playing. You can imagine he's clearly going to be the best target, maybe other than Cordarrelle Patterson. Debo Samuel's been an absolute monster, and he's his second flex. So, Billy should just
Billy's benching people like Chase Claypool. I mean, it's good. That's good. Good stuff.
He did well in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty rare that everybody you draft just turns out to do exactly what you prayed they would. So it's working out for Billy. He's got a stud team, and if he pushes 200 points this week, I would shit my pants. But I don't see Devin having a chance.
Yeah, and Devin,
which is good news for me and you, being at the bottom of the table.
Well, Devin, I think, has been a little bit unlucky. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been pretty disappointing. A.J. Brown hasn't been healthy. T.
Even
Higgins
Alvin Kamara
hasn't been healthy. So I think that Devin's been a little bit unlucky, but if you look at his bench, he doesn't really have any better options to slot in at those flex spots. And Kenyon Drake has been irrelevant almost in the Raiders' offense, and Melvin Gordon is a schmuck.
I agree. I don't think there's much else to say. He's really going to need 30 from Aaron, 30 from T. Higgins, 30 from A.J. Brown to stay in this one. Alvin Kamara, man, without Drew Brees being there, is he the same back? I mean, let's see points here. Just simply not. He hasn't even scored 21 yet in a game, which that used to be like the average. So not much else to say there.
It seems like Billy would have this one in the bag, but you know how it is any given Sunday.
Agreed. Well, I think that just about wraps it up. Wiseman, anything to say? Any predictions? Anything? Shout-outs? You got anything for us?
Shout out to everyone who's still watching. We're about almost 42 minutes in here. So if you made it this far, thanks for listening. Not very excited with how my fantasy season is going, but I am very excited with how the Chargers are playing. I think we're unlucky not to beat the Cowboys 4-0.
Oh, get the fuck out.
It was a close game. You take a field goal at the last second.
And you missed. That's how it goes. The way she fucking goes. Oh, we made ours.
You won. So
you weren't lucky.
I said,
oh, boy. Trayvon Diggs in this bitch. Who's Mike Williams? Mike Jones. Who?
Anyway, Chargers are playing good football, so that pleases me. But my fantasy team has been poop. But anything that has happened can potentially happen the opposite way. So if I put, I'm not saying I can put 4 wins, but if I get one this week and maybe grab another next week, I might be at least avoid relegation.
Well, we got to talk about relegation. I agree with you on the real football stuff. Dallas is 3-1, should be 4-0. Got robbed by the refs week 1, and you can still get them 16-1 to win the Super Bowl. So Dallas' defense is a bend don't break type of defense, and they've been forcing a shit ton of turnovers, and they have the best offense in the NFL. So I'm excited. That's all I got.
All right, well then that's it.
That'll do it from us, y'all. And stay tuned for next week. We'll have to do another one. Because I don't do these things until I start winning. That's just the way she goes. I can't face the camera all the time. That'll do it from us. Peace.